1 year ago, I was stood in this car park in front of my G87 M2 and I told you fast cars wouldn't make you happy. In the year since, I've been using this NC MX-5 as my main car and I wanted to revisit some of those ideas, see if I was right, see if I was wrong. We're going to take it for a spirited drive, we're going to talk about feel, we're going to talk about power, all of that is coming. But as with the first video, I want to focus on the human element first. There's some big differences in driving a car like this all the time compared to driving a G87 M2, in the way it affects your life, in the way you're perceived. So strap in. At the end of the video, I'll also give you guys a bit of a update on this car, show you some of the things that I've changed. So that'll be right at the end of the video. It's back. The Wolfbox MF200. The last time I did an integration on this channel was the single biggest source of sales for Wolfbox MF200. You guys love this thing. This time of year, it's absolutely freezing. If I'm washing a car, I don't want to go and get a drying towel and get my hands all cold and absolutely horrible. This is my cheat code. 2 seconds. Sometimes it's hard to see just how powerful it is with water, so I'll show you with foam. It does not muck about. Do you know what I really like it for? I didn't need to sweep the leaves. This thing is next level. Links are in the description. Go and get yours. I've got a discount code you can use down there as well. Go to the Wolfbox website. Let's get back to talking about why you will regret buying that fast car. If you're in this channel's demographic, 20s and 30s, male, I really want you to hear me on this video. You will regret buying that fast, modern, expensive car. And driving around in a car like that is not cool. I'll tell you what is cool. Financial security. Caveat, this is not financial advice, although it kind of is. Don't go and buy DM cars and AMGs. Just, you're going to dig a hole for your life and you're just gonna go down instead of going forward. It's not cool to own one of those cars. I'll tell you what is cool. Owning your own house. Having enough savings that if you lose your job, it's a non-issue. And if you watch that original video, Fast Cars Won't Make You Happy, they're not even that fun to drive. It's really sad. I know everybody gets really caught up in numbers and power especially, man. When I tell people this thing's got 160 horsepower, everyone thinks I'm mad. Power is boring. Once you've had power and you've experienced a ton of power, you get over it. And maybe there is something to be said for every petrol head having to go on that journey and experience it. And some people never get off that journey. They just keep going to the next power tier and they've already got the 600 horsepower M6, but now they want the hybrid turbo so they can get to 700. If you're on that journey and that's your thing, more power to you, I guess. Your life's going to be very expensive. The truth is, modern cars don't drive that differently. If you drive a base model like 420i BMW and you drive an M4, they're not that different. Most people on the internet wouldn't tell you this. Another thing you have to understand on the internet is everyone has an ulterior motive. People that get press cars deliver positive reviews so they can continue getting press cars. Nobody on the internet's gonna tell you the fucking truth. I'll give you guys a really good example. Golf GTI, Golf R. Every petrol head looks at the numbers and 220 horsepower, 300 horsepower, this is better, right? No. It drives exactly the same. You just pay more for fuel and you have to stop accelerating sooner. You will regret buying that fast car. After a year or so, you will have resentment towards it. And if you haven't had a lot of cars and you get your first fast car, you might think it's worth it because you'll have some of those experiences that you otherwise wouldn't have had. But I'll tell you another secret. You can have all the same experiences in a relatively cheap car and you'll probably have more fun. I did a spreadsheet the other day and I totaled up how much money I've saved by not owning an M2 for a year. And in depreciation plus the payments plus all the consumables that it would have used in the year, I could buy another NC MX-5. I'll tell you something else. If you buy a relatively modern fast car, it's going to be expensive. You're probably going to finance it. The finance trap is not talked about nearly enough on the internet. There is a freedom that comes with owning the car. I mean, there's different types of finance agreements. You can do the ones where you own the car for a number of years and you have to give it back and your payments are less. Either way, you are trapped. You're digging that hole, you gotta keep digging it, you can never stop. And then once you give the car back, you gotta go and get another car and then continue. It's madness. Do you know how nice it is owning a car that you actually own? I've got an extra bonus because I bought an NC3. Values on NCs are rock solid. I could sell this car, even though I've put some mileage on it, for the same price that I paid for it. Maybe a little bit more. Whereas the M2, in the year that I haven't owned it, depreciated another £5,000. I think especially in the UK, we don't teach financial literacy enough. People don't understand money. You have the opportunity cost of the 11 grand or so it cost you to own the M2, because that's 11 grand you haven't saved, so that's 11 grand you haven't invested, 11 grand that hasn't gone towards your mortgage, 11 grand that... Remember about the hole? Yeah. We're probably like 5 minutes into the video. I haven't even gotten to talking about how this car drives. We will get to it. The love I have for this car cannot be expressed. It brought me back to understanding what's actually important about enjoying cars. There are some downsides to older cars, and cars like this especially. You do not get the same respect, credit, and appreciation when you turn up somewhere in one of these as when you turn up somewhere in a G87 M2. People do treat you differently. It's a small little insect-shaped thing, you know? Nobody's impressed by this. Equally, when it comes to women, this is the best filter of people in your life you will ever come across. Turn up for a date in your car, and the car affects what the woman thinks of you and ruins your chances. Fantastic. You've filtered the people that you don't want in your life. And don't get me wrong, good people are also impressed by nice cars, but good people won't write you off if you have a car like this. So just own a car like this and then just send all the shit people packing. You're gonna be so much happier. Immeasurable benefits to older cars. There's probably enough yap. Let's get out on the road and talk about the driving experience and why you will regret fast modern cars from that perspective too. Here it is. Such a nice thing to drive. The word of the day is feedback. This is the downside of modern fast cars. They've got really wide tires. They've got electric steering. They've got stiff suspension. They can't communicate with you. This absolutely can. It is satisfying to drive this car. I would be remiss if I didn't start with the quality of this car's steering. I've made some more tweaks to the alignment, and there's a little bit more weighting now. When I throw it round a corner, it weighs up. It feels so good. It's even better than it was before. As you're driving down the road, the wheel's just buzzing, telling you, oh Mick, no, over here it's a little bit wet. Oh Mick, over here it's a little bit greasy. Oh Mick, oh Mick, oh Mick. It's fantastic. I love this steering. It feels delicious around these corners. When you lean on the tires, you can actually feel it. And the suspension too. It communicates. When I'm going around those corners, I can feel the suspension compress. I can feel when it hits the bump stop. I can feel the bump stop compress when I push quite hard. It's absolutely delicious. And the engine and gearbox. People will laugh at you when you have 160 horsepower and call yourself a car enthusiast. I know, because they laugh at me. Let them laugh. If you want to drive hard on the road, more power is a hindrance. The more power you have, the earlier you're just going to have to lift off because it's not reasonable to go that fast on the road. So having less power actually means you enjoy the car more, you work it harder. It actually makes a good noise. I can go full throttle. Look at this, maintenance throttle, full throttle. Now I have to brake. Maintenance throttle, full throttle. Now I have to brake. Maintenance throttle, full throttle. Okay, I'm gonna pussy out now because I don't want to lose my license. But if you're driving a truly fast car, you pussy out because of your license all the time. Every corner, every straight. It's not fun. This is fun. Go and watch my M2 video and see what happens when I hold the accelerator pedal down in that car. It's not like this. Full throttle, I'm barely catching the traffic. If you buy a genuinely fast car, you will never have that experience. It can't happen. And no matter how much you're comfortable with risking your license, there's also like just being reasonable on the road. You can't go that fast because it's just not safe. You're gonna damage yourself and others. Right around 60 to 70, you're flirting with the limit a little bit, but it's reasonable. And this car at that speed is doing its best. It's engaging, it's fun, it's a little bit sketchy at times, especially in the wet, but that's exactly what you want, to feel like you're driving. Modern cars at that speed just feel like nothing in every corner. They are uninterested. This car's a bad influence in the best way. I love this little thing. I will never sell it. I never, ever, ever, ever sell it. And that's why you will regret buying a genuinely fast car, because you'll never get to drive like that. You'll never get the same feeling that I just did. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed that. Here's one for the real ones. So the build series left off when it was almost at this stage, but there's been a few little finishing touches that I've put to the car that have really helped. First of all, I kept having the rear end wobbling. And because of that, I ended up getting a bunch of alignments, and because of that, I ended up getting really into alignments, and because of that, I ripped out the whole rear end of the car and rebuilt it from scratch. I found that a washer for one of the alignment bolts was messed up. I also found that the bump stops in the suspension were worn down because the car was too low. So what I then did is installed a spacer for the rear suspension. Now, because the wheels turned, it's jacking the front up a little bit, but it sits a lot better now, I think. And it can also clear speed bumps now, which is really nice. The next big upgrade were these Bridgestone Potenza Sports. This is the newest Bridgestone tyre. I believe Bridgestones give you the best steering feel. You guys can argue with me if you want, but I've driven like every UHP tyre now. Michelin's the worst, Bridgestone's the best. Maybe the Yokohama V107 is also a really good tyre, but Bridgestone Potenza Sport, probably the best. These are slightly wider, so the tyres are no longer stretched, which has improved the ride of the car immeasurably. I will never put stretched tyres on a car again. I think it's rubbish. It's also, because they're a little bit wider, they're a bit taller too, even though they're the same 45 profile, so the comfort has improved too. This car now rides very similar to stock. I need to do something about these exhausts, because you can see they're not quite, especially on this side, it's not quite sitting in the hole correctly. So I've probably got to take the whole thing off, maybe replace all the bushes that go on the hangers, because that looks like it's sagging a little bit. Small fixes, not an issue. For Christmas, the wifey treated me. Momo drifting steering wheel. That is like the nicest steering wheel possible. The brushed finish on there matches the brushed finish on the dash. It just looks beautiful. I don't know if I love the yellow up here. I might end up colouring them in black. That's a problem for another time. I'm super, super, super happy with how the car is. You can see it's dirty. I mean, it's the middle of winter. It's the 1st of February right now. It's absolutely freezing. So I haven't really been bothered to wash the car because I'm just going to go and enjoy it some more anyway.